nightlife. Okay.
Hangzhou was the host of the G20 summit last year in 2016, and since then it is really evolving as a top travel destination, especially for U.S. visitors. Both the New York Times and Travel and Leisure magazine listed it as a top destination for 2016. So we're seeing more and more people come here. And the reason why is because this is a hidden gem. It's been under the radar. And a lot of people think about going to Beijing or Shanghai. But the reality is, if you want a true, authentic Chinese experience, Hangzhou is the perfect place to come. It's known as heaven on earth here in China. And when you make the journey, you will see why. It is beautiful. There is so much nature here, from the beautiful West Lake to the first ever wetland national park in all of China. It's right here in Hangzhou. You can go out on a traditional boat and see how the fishermen live. And tea is very important to the culture here in China all over. And in Hangzhou, you'll find several national museums. The National Tea Museum is here, the National Silk Museum. The Southern Song Dynasty Guankiln Museum is here, honoring the oldest form of porcelain. So you're really going to get a feel for why these things are so important to the Chinese culture, and also how they've affected the entire world. When you leave the tea museum, you will feel like, oh my gosh, tea has changed the world. And it's not just simply putting tea in a tea bag and enjoying your cup of tea. You will have a tea tasting at the museum. You can even walk amongst the fields. And every season that you come here, you'll have a different experience, from the scenery to the activities to the cuisine on your plate. For example, if you're here in the springtime, you might get to see the harvesting of the Longjing green tea, which is incredible. If you're here in the summertime, like right now, you're going to have different types of cuisine, like the lotus is on your plate. That is wonderful. In the springtime, you might get bamboo. In the fall, you might get crab. So it really depends. Chefs here are very keen on making sure that you have the freshest food experience possible. They don't layer it with lots of spices. So if you want Kung Pao chicken, stay in the US. If you want something truly authentic, come here to Hangzhou. It's wonderful. And variety is also important when it comes to the nightlife here. You can listen to jazz at a bar. You can go to a local watering hole. You can see some local theater or outdoor music, or maybe a live music performance. So Chinese opera as well. There are local performances. Really important. Talk to your hotel concierge or your tour operator. Let them know what type of experience you want to have, because you can find it all here at Hangzhou. And when it comes to some other must-sees, visit the temples. Longjing is the tea. Ling In is the beautiful temple where people are going and making wishes. It's a very spiritual spot and one of the must-sees that you must do when you're here in Hangzhou. So it was good enough for the G20, and it should definitely be on your radar. Hangzhou, China.